One day before Christmas Eve, my dad said, "The best gift would be if you disappeared from this family." The whole family went silent. No one defended me. So I did exactly that. After selling the house I paid for and canceling their dream holiday dinner, what I taped to the fridge silenced them. Imagine sitting at Christmas dinner, and your own father, without a shred of hesitation, tells you the best gift you could give the family is to disappear. And then the entire room goes silent. Not one person, not a single soul comes to your defense. That night I made a silent promise. I would grant his wish, but I would make sure my disappearance would be the most devastating gift he ever received. It was December 23rd, 6 p.m. Just 24 hours before Christmas Eve. 18 of my family members were gathered in the lavish Seattle mansion. A mansion I'd secretly been funding brick by expensive brick for years. My father, Dr. Robert Ifield, the esteemed head of surgical departments, stood, glass in hand, and with a chillingly casual smirk he announced, "The best Christmas gift would be if Willow disappeared from this family entirely." The room went dead silent. A gasp caught in my throat. Not one person, not my mother, not my grandparents came to my defense. Then I heard it, my brother Michael, a snort of laughter quickly stifled, but I heard it. They had no idea, not a single clue, that they were applauding the architect of their own financial ruin. See, while they scoffed at my useless tech career, I'd been quietly footing the bill for everything. I'm talking $4,800 every single month for their utilities, electricity, water, gas, internet. I'd covered Dad's forgotten mortgage payments 11 times, and get this, I was the co-signer on the very loan that kept a roof over their heads. My 790 FICO score was literally holding their entire life together. The grand total? Over $500,000, $500,400, to be exact, poured into their lives over 8 years. $500,000, and I was the family disappointment. Hi, I'm Willow. I'm 32, and for 8 years I'd allowed myself to be their silent ATM, their invisible safety net. But that night something shifted. Because tomorrow, at the hospital's biggest gala, I was about to unleash a truth that would make my father wish he'd never opened his mouth. I was about to become his boss. The Ifield name, you have to understand, it means something in Seattle medical circles. We're talking 3 generations of doctors, prestigious institutions, groundbreaking research. My grandfather was a legend. My father, Dr. Robert Ifield, he runs the surgical department at Seattle Grace Hospital. My brother Michael just completed his neurosurgery residency. And then there's me, the black sheep, the family disappointment, because I chose computer science. Not medicine. Never medicine. Every Sunday dinner at their Queen and mansion was a masterclass in subtle, and sometimes not so subtle, humiliation. While Michael regaled everyone with his name, I sat quietly, knowing my work in healthcare AI meant absolutely nothing to them. My father would wave his hand dismissively. "Oh, Willow? She plays with computers. Not exactly saving lives, is she?" The irony, oh the irony, it burned. He conveniently forgot that I'd been the co-signer on their mortgage since 2016, after his malpractice settlement completely torpedoed his credit score. Without my pristine FICO, he never would have gotten that sweet 3.9% rate. But co-signing, in his mind, that wasn't a real contribution. Neither was quietly paying every single utility bill. Electricity, water, gas, internet, property taxes, HOA fees. Month after month, $4,800 would vanish from my account, just to keep their lights on, their heated floors warm, their infinity pool sparkling. Dad knew, of course. He even mentioned it once. Well, someone should contribute something, since you're not carrying on the family legacy. As if $460,800 over 8 years was pocket change. As if the 11 times I'd covered his forgotten mortgage payments, another $39,600, meant absolutely nothing. But the worst? The way he'd introduce me at hospital events. "This is Willow. She's in computers." That pause before computers hung in the air like a terminal diagnosis of failure. I kept everything meticulously documented in a spreadsheet I called family support. Every payment, every date, amount, confirmation number. 8 years of financial devotion, reduced to cold, hard rows and columns that told a story no one wanted to hear. $500,000 dismissed as token gestures. The spreadsheet became my secret comfort. While Dad praised Michael's real accomplishments and aunts cooed over his bright future, I'd mentally review my PayPal receipts, my bank transfers. Evidence of love, measured in dollars, that bought me nothing but dismissal. Michael's promotion means he'll finally out-earn Willow. Dad announced at Thanksgiving, raising his wine glass. Proof that medicine pays better than typing code. Michael smirked. At least my work requires actual skill, not just Googling solutions. Mom actually laughed. "Oh, Michael, be nice. Not everyone can handle the pressure of real responsibility." Real responsibility? I pulled up my banking app under the table, staring at that morning's auto payment. $4,800 for December's house bills. Their champagne glasses glittered under the chandelier I paid to keep illuminated. That night, I added a new column to my spreadsheet. Recognition received. It remained empty. What they didn't know, what I'd hidden even from myself, was that my typing code had just earned recognition from the one place Dad worshipped above all others, the Geneva Medical Innovation Summit. But I wasn't ready to process that yet. First, I needed to survive one more family Christmas. The 2024 family Christmas card arrived. Gold embossed, professionally photographed at the mansion's grand staircase. Dad in his white coat, Mom in pearls, Michael in scrubs. The Ifield medical dynasty in all its glory. I wasn't in it. We took it during your work trip, Mom explained. Besides, your father thought it looked more balanced without you. Aesthetically speaking. Balanced. As if my absence was an aesthetic choice, not a deliberate erasure. I stared at that card, propped against the laptop that had just received an email changing everything. Subject: Confidential Executive Position Discussion. From James Morrison, CEO of Technova Corporation. My hands trembled. Technova, an $82 billion tech giant. Their medical division revolutionizing diagnostic AI. They wanted to discuss their Chief Technology Officer position. But that wasn't even the shocking part. The email's second paragraph made my breath catch. Your AI platform selection for the Geneva Gold Medal has confirmed what we suspected. You're the visionary we need. The Geneva Gold Medal. The honor my father had chased for 30 years. The recognition that had eluded 3 generations of Ifield doctors. And I'd won it. With computer typing. My phone buzzed. A text from Dad. Don't forget dinner on the 23rd, 6 p.m. sharp. Extended family will be here. Try to dress appropriately and have something interesting to contribute for once. Something interesting to contribute. I looked at the email again, then at the family Christmas card, where my absence was an aesthetic improvement. James Morrison's follow-up email arrived, marked urgent, time-sensitive offer. My heart raced. Position: Chief Technology Officer, Technova Corp Medical Division. Salary: $450,000 annually. Equity: 2% vested over 4 years, currently valued at $164 million. The deadline made my stomach clench. Confirmed by December 26th. The announcement? At tomorrow's Seattle Grace Hospital Gala, Technova would pledge $50 million, and I'd be sitting at the VIP table. Your AI platform has already saved 12,000 lives during our 6-month pilot program. This achievement, combined with your Geneva Gold Medal, makes you the ideal leader for our medical technology revolution. This role requires someone who values innovation over tradition. Exactly what your background suggests. Innovation over tradition. Everything my family despised. If I accepted, I'd have to stand on that stage tomorrow night, in front of 500 medical professionals, and publicly embrace everything my father considered beneath the Ifield name. The daughter who abandoned medicine would become the highest paid executive in the room, leading the company that controlled his hospital's future. If I declined to keep family peace, I'd lose more than money. I'd lose the chance to prove that my work, dismissed and belittled for 8 years, had already saved more lives than my father's entire surgical career. My phone lit up. Another family group text. Michael. Hope Willow remembers not to talk about coding at dinner tomorrow. Real accomplishments only. 17 relatives liked his message. 17. The stakes crystallized. I pulled up article after article about Technova's revolutionary impact. Technova AI reduces diagnostic errors by 67%. Revolutionary platform catches early-stage cancers doctors missed. The future of medicine isn't human. Every headline was validation my family would never give me. And the numbers? 12,000 people walking around today because my algorithm caught what human eyes missed. I found the Geneva Summit press release, embargoed until December 24th. The 2024 Geneva Gold Medal for Medical Innovation goes to Willow Ifield. This marks the first time in 40 years the award has gone to a non-physician. The first time in 40 years. My father had submitted papers 8 times. 8 rejections. Accepting meant declaring, I chose technology over tradition. I chose innovation over your legacy. I chose myself over your approval. The family would see it as betrayal. The ultimate rejection of everything the Ifield name stood for. My banking app notification popped up. Automatic payment scheduled. $4,800 to Ifield Properties LLC. Tomorrow's house bills, processed like clockwork while they planned their Christmas without me. I pulled up the co-signer agreement for Dad's mortgage. One phone call to Wells Fargo, and his rate would jump from 3.9% to 7.5%. His payment would skyrocket. Without my utility payments, he'd face $10,000 monthly expenses. The power to devastate them sat in my hands. December 23rd, 6 p.m. I stood outside my childhood home, clutching a $300 bottle of wine I knew they'd critique anyway. Through the frosted windows, warm light spilled onto the manicured lawn I'd paid to maintain. 18 cars lined the driveway. The full Ifield extended family had assembled. Inside, the interrogation began immediately. Still typing code? Aunt Helen asked, her voice dripping condescension. Still saving lives? I responded quietly. Uncle Richard guffawed. She thinks computers save lives. Robert, where did this one get her delusions? From her mother's side, clearly, Dad said, earning chuckles. The dining room a shrine to medical degrees. Harvard, Hopkins, Stanford. Gilded frames reflecting chandelier light. My MIT diploma? Nowhere to be found. It never had been. Michael just got promoted to attending physician. Cousin Sarah announced. Youngest in Seattle Grace history. Following in Robert's footsteps beautifully. Grandmother Ifield nodded. At least we have one child maintaining standards. Michael smirked at me across the table. Don't look so glum, Willow. Someone has to be the family cautionary tale about wasted potential. Speaking of waste, Dad interjected. Willow, are you still renting that cramped apartment? At your age, Michael owned his first condo. I've been busy paying for this house, I said quietly. The room went silent for a heartbeat. Contributing to utilities isn't paying for the house, Dad scoffed. And co-signing was the least you could do, considering we raised you. The least I could do? My voice stayed level. 8 years. $500,000. Money isn't achievement. Dad's voice turned ice cold. It's not legacy. It's not saving lives. You're right, I said. It's not. But tomorrow he'd learn what was. Aunt Helen laughed sharply. Don't exaggerate, dear. I pulled out my phone, opening the spreadsheet I'd memorized. Utilities, property taxes, HOA fees, $4,800 monthly for 96 months, plus 11 emergency mortgage payments when Dad forgot. Total, $500,400. Forgot. Dad's face reddened. Strategic payment delays for investment liquidity. Is that what we're calling it? I kept my voice steady. The bank calls it delinquency. Michael slammed his wine glass down. You think paying bills makes you special? No, I said. I think paying bills while being told I contribute nothing makes me done. Mom finally spoke. What does that mean? It means, Dad interrupted, standing now, his voice filling the room, that Willow thinks she can buy respect, that she can purchase her way into meaning something to this family. The room held its breath. You want to know what would make this Christmas perfect? Dad's eyes locked on mine. If you disappeared from this family entirely, stop pretending you belong at this table. Stop embarrassing us with your presence at hospital events. Just stop. 18 people. Aunts, uncles, cousins, grandparents, my own mother. Not one voice rose in my defense. Michael actually laughed. Finally, someone said it. I stood slowly, placing my napkin on my untouched plate. You want me gone? The best gift you could give us, Dad confirmed. Merry Christmas. Then I walked out, leaving my keys on the hall table. Behind me, Uncle Richard started clapping. Slowly, others joined in. My phone buzzed as I reached my car. James Morrison. Hoping for good news tomorrow. The medical world needs revolutionaries, not dynasties. I typed back with steady fingers. I'll take the position. The family group chat exploded before I even reached my apartment. Michael. Drama queen exit. Taking bets on how long before she comes crawling back. Cousin Sarah. Give her 3 days max. Aunt Helen. Your father's right, Willow, this victim complex is exhausting. Mom. Please don't make a scene at tomorrow's gala. Your father's reputation matters. His reputation. After telling me to disappear, she worried about his reputation. I sat in my car, engine running, heat blasting against the December cold. My hands shook as I called James Morrison. Willow. His voice was warm, concerned. It's late. Everything okay? I'll take the position, I said. But I need to know something. Tomorrow's announcement. My father will be there. Front row. VIP table. He's being considered for hospital director. James paused. Is that a problem? No, I took a breath. It's perfect. Technova is the primary donor for Seattle Grace's new wing. $50 million. Our largest medical pledge ever. His tone shifted. Understanding dawning. Willow. What happened? My family just made it clear I don't belong with them. Tomorrow, I'd like to show them where I do belong. The announcement's scheduled for 8 p.m. Right after your father's keynote on medical excellence through generations. The irony in James' voice was sharp. He's giving a keynote about family legacy in medicine. How the Ifield name represents 3 generations of surgical excellence. I actually laughed. Then tomorrow should be educational. Willow, James's voice gentled. You sure you're ready for this? I looked at the family chat, now planning tomorrow's Christmas dinner without me. I've been ready for 8 years. After ending the call, I opened my laptop. The DocuSign contract. Chief Technology Officer. Stock options worth more than my father's entire career. A corner office overlooking Elliott Bay. But one email attachment made me stop breathing. Seattle Grace Donor Hierarchy 2024. Technova Corporation was at the very top. Primary benefactor. $50 million pledged. The entire new surgical wing would bear the Technova name. Every recovery room, every piece of equipment my father would use for the rest of his career would carry the logo of the company I'd now help lead. James had included a note. The hospital board requested you personally attend tomorrow's check presentation. They're particularly excited about implementing your AI diagnostic system hospital-wide. Dr. Patricia Hayes specifically asked if you'd consider joining their innovation committee. Patricia Hayes, the hospital director my father desperately wanted to impress for his promotion. Another email popped up, forwarded from James. Cinder, Geneva Medical Summit Committee. Announcement of Miss Ifield's Geneva Gold Medal will coincide with your gala event at 8 p.m. PS. Reuters, AP, and Medical Innovation Quarterly have all confirmed coverage. The Seattle Times specifically requested an exclusive interview with Miss Ifield about becoming the first non-physician recipient in 40 years. First non-physician in 40 years. My father 8 submissions, 8 rejections. I signed the DocuSign. The timestamp read 11:47 p.m., December 23rd. By tomorrow night, everything would change. My phone rang at 7 a.m. on December 24th. Dr. Patricia Hayes. Willow, I hope I'm not calling too early. Her voice held an undertone I'd never heard from her before. Excitement. James Morrison told me the news. Congratulations on CTO. Thank you, Dr. Hayes. Patricia, please. We'll be working closely together. She paused. I need you to know something. Before tonight, I was on the Geneva Selection Committee. I've read every submission your father ever sent. Competent work but derivative. Yours? Revolutionary. My throat tightened. He doesn't know I won. No, he doesn't. But he'll find out tonight. Along with something else. Her voice dropped. I've been documenting your platform's impact at our partner hospitals. 12,000 lives saved is actually conservative. The real number's closer to 15,000. 15,000. Every case tracked, verified, documented. I'll be presenting this data tonight, right after James announces your appointment. Your father likes to quote his career statistics. 4,000 successful surgeries over 30 years. You've quadrupled that in 6 months. I stared at my apartment ceiling processing this. Why are you telling me? Because for 8 years, I've watched Robert diminish your achievements while taking credit for a hospital wing he couldn't afford without your company's donation. Did you know he lists himself as primary facilitator for the Technova partnership? What? Oh yes. On his director application, claims his family connections in technology secured the funding. He means you, of course. The daughter he tells everyone is wasting her life. You rejected his director application. The board meets January 3rd. But between us, a director who publicly disowns the very innovation saving lives? Not exactly leadership material. The pieces were falling into place for tonight's revelation. 7 p.m. The grand ballroom at the Fairmont Olympic Hotel glittered. Seattle medical elite. 500 guests. Champagne flowing. I walked in wearing a simple black dress and my MIT alumni pin. The only jewelry I needed. The hostess checked her list, confused. Willow, Ifield? You're at table 1 with Technova Corporation. Table 1. The primary sponsor table, direct sightline to the stage. My father stood at table 3, the VIP medical staff section, holding court with his surgical colleagues. He hadn't noticed me yet. Michael beside him, gesturing animatedly. Mom and her favorite pearls laughing. Willow. James Morrison's voice cut through the crowd. He was 6 feet 2 inches, silver-haired, commanding, making heads turn. There's our newest executive. He guided me to table 1, where Technova's C-suite sat alongside major shareholders. The placement wasn't subtle. Anyone who mattered would notice the Ifield daughter sitting with the hospital's biggest donors. Nervous? James asked quietly. No, I realized with surprise. I'm ready. The lights dimmed for dinner service. Patricia Hayes took the podium for opening remarks. Then she announced the keynote speaker. Please welcome Dr. Robert Ifield, discussing 3 generations of medical excellence. Dad strode to the podium with practiced confidence. The spotlight found him. He began the speech I'd heard versions of my entire life. The Ifield legacy, the sacred calling of medicine, the importance of tradition. The Ifield name has meant healing for 70 years, he proclaimed. My son Michael continues this proud tradition. No mention of me. In a room where I sat at the sponsor table, I remained invisible to him. Medical excellence, my father continued, his voice resonating through the ballroom, cannot be replicated by machines or algorithms. It requires human intuition, generations of wisdom, the sacred trust between physician and patient. Several doctors nodded approvingly. Others shifted uncomfortably, knowing their departments already relied on AI diagnostics. My grandfather pioneered cardiac techniques still used today. I've performed over 4,000 successful surgeries. My son Michael just became the youngest attending physician in Seattle Grace history. Dad paused for effect. This is what legacy means. This is why medicine remains a calling, not merely a career. What about your daughter? A young resident I didn't recognize asked from table 7. Dad's jaw tightened. My daughter chose a different path. But isn't she? She works in technology, Dad cut him off. His tone dismissive. Some people prefer keyboards to scalpels. Less pressure, less responsibility, less impact. Nervous laughter rippled through the crowd. James Morrison's hand briefly touched my arm in silent support. Not everyone, Dad continued, warming to his theme, can handle the weight of life and death decisions. Some seek easier roads. Coding, data entry, digital busy work that machines will eventually replace. Anyway, Michael laughed audibly from table 3, raising his champagne glass in mock toast. But tonight, Dad spread his arms magnanimously, we celebrate those who chose the harder path, who understood that true innovation comes from human hands, not artificial intelligence. Patricia Hayes stood up from table 2. The future of medicine, Dad concluded, oblivious, belongs to those brave enough to carry forward tradition, not those hiding behind screens pretending to contribute. The applause was polite but scattered. Half the room knew Technova's AI had transformed their departments. James rose from his chair. But before James could move, another voice pierced the awkward silence. Dr. Ifield, a follow-up question. Dr. Marcus Chun from Pediatric Oncology stood up. Your daughter. Isn't she the one who developed the diagnostic AI we've been using? Dad's smile turned brittle. As I said, she works in technology. Basic programming. Basic. Dr. Chun persisted. The system caught 3 cases of pediatric leukemia we missed. That seems more than basic. Listen, Dad's voice sharpened. I'm sure my daughter's hobby projects have their place, but comparing data entry to actual medicine, that's insulting to every physician here. Hobby projects. Someone whispered at a nearby table. Michael stood up, emboldened by wine and opportunity. My sister means well, but she's always been jealous of real doctors. This coding thing is her way of trying to feel important. Mom nodded supportively. We've tried to be patient with her need for attention. The room's discomfort was palpable. Servers stopped mid-pour. Patricia Hayes was already walking toward the stage. Perhaps, Dad said with false magnanimity, we shouldn't waste time discussing those who couldn't cut it in medicine. Tonight is about celebrating those who could. That's when James Morrison's voice boomed across the ballroom. I'd like to address that statement. Every head turned. James commanded attention. Dr. Ifield speaks about those who couldn't cut it in medicine. I'm curious if he knows that his daughter just won the Geneva Gold Medal for medical innovation. The sound Dad made wasn't quite a gasp. More like air leaving a punctured lung. That's impossible, he stammered. James smiled. Patricia, would you like to share the verification? James Morrison took the microphone with a CEO authority that made my father step backward instinctively. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for interrupting, but Technova Corporation has an announcement that can't wait. The screens around the ballroom flickered to life with the Technova logo. Tonight, we're not just pledging $50 million to Seattle Grace. We're introducing the architect of the medical revolution that made our success possible. Dad remained frozen at the podium's edge, his face draining of color. 6 months ago, James continued, we implemented an AI diagnostic platform that has transformed healthcare delivery across 47 hospitals. This platform has identified cancers at stage 0, predicted cardiac events weeks in advance, and caught rare diseases that would have killed patients within days. The screen shifted to data visualizations. Survival rates, diagnostic accuracy, lives saved. 15,237 lives. James let the number hang in the air. That's not a projection. That's verified, documented reality. Each case peer-reviewed and confirmed. Whispers rippled through the crowd. Doctors pulled out phones, checking their own department statistics. This platform just won the 2024 Geneva Gold Medal for medical innovation. The first time in 40 years it's gone to someone without a medical degree. James paused, his eyes finding mine. Because sometimes the greatest medical breakthroughs come from those brave enough to think beyond tradition. My father's hand gripped the podium's edge. Knuckles white. Please welcome Technova's new Chief Technology Officer, the mind behind this revolution. And yes, Dr. Robert Ifield's daughter, Willow Ifield. The spotlight swung from my father to find me at table 1. 500 faces turned. The silence was absolute. I stood slowly, my MIT pin catching the light. I began walking toward the stage. Each step felt like shedding 8 years of invisibility. The spotlight followed my path through the ballroom. Past tables of surgeons who dismissed me. Past relatives who'd mocked my choices. Past my brother, whose champagne glass trembled in his hand. Willow Ifield. James announced again, louder this time. Our new Chief Technology Officer. The words echoed off the ballroom's vaulted ceiling. Someone started clapping. Dr. Chun from Pediatrics. Others joined slowly, uncertain, looking between me and my father, who stood statue still at the podium's edge. I climbed the 3 steps to the stage. Dad's eyes met mine. Confusion. Disbelief. And something else. Fear. He whispered into the hot mic, that's impossible. She's not, she can't be. James handed me the microphone with a subtle nod of encouragement. The weight of it felt right in my hand. Good evening, I said, my voice steady and clear. Yes, I'm Robert Ifield's daughter. The one who chose keyboards over scalpels. The one who couldn't handle real medicine. Michael had dropped into his chair, face ash white. Mom's hand covered her mouth. 12 hours ago, I continued. My father told me the best Christmas gift would be if I disappeared from the family. 18 relatives applauded that suggestion. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Patricia Hayes was recording on her phone. So I'm honoring his wish. I'm disappearing from the Ifield family legacy of traditional medicine. I turned to face my father directly, and appearing as the CTO of the company that will define medicine's future. The screens behind me lit up with the Geneva announcement. My name in bold letters beneath the gold medal image. Dad's legs seemed to give out. He gripped the podium to stay upright. I turned back to the audience, clicking the presentation remote James had discreetly handed me. The screens filled with data I knew by heart. This AI platform started as what my family called a hobby project. Something I worked on during the nights I wasn't paying their bills. The spreadsheet appeared briefly. $500,400 highlighted. But while I was covering the mortgage on a house I wasn't welcome in, I was also building something that would save lives they couldn't reach. The next slide. Before and after diagnostic rates from Seattle Grace's own departments. Radiology, 34% improvement in early detection. Oncology, 47% reduction in misdiagnosis. Emergency, 89% faster critical condition identification. I kept my voice professional, letting facts speak louder than emotion. 15,000 lives saved in 6 months. That's 83 lives per day. While my father performed 4,000 surgeries over 30 years, this platform saves that many every 7 weeks. Those are just numbers. Dad finally found his voice, though it cracked. Medicine is about human connection. You're right, I interrupted calmly, which is why the platform doesn't replace doctors. It empowers them. It gives them time for human connection by handling data analysis in seconds instead of hours. Patricia Hayes had joined us on stage. If I may, she said, taking a second microphone. Dr. Ifield, you've repeatedly dismissed your daughter's work as not real medicine. Yet, you listed yourself as the primary facilitator of Technova's donation on your director application. You claimed credit for the very innovation you're denouncing. The crowd's murmur turned sharp. Board members exchanged glances. Furthermore, Patricia continued, the Geneva committee you've submitted to 8 times? They specifically noted that Willow's work represents the most significant medical advance since antibiotics. Dad's mouth opened and closed soundlessly. Patricia Hayes wasn't finished. The hospital director commanded the stage with an authority that made my father shrink. Let me be crystal clear for everyone here, Patricia announced. Willow Ifield's platform has reduced our mortality rate by 34%. The largest improvement in Seattle Grace's history. More effective than any surgical innovation, any pharmaceutical breakthrough, any traditional intervention we've implemented. She clicked to a new slide showing department rankings. My father's surgical department was highlighted in red. At the bottom, the future of medicine isn't tradition versus technology, Patricia continued. It's embracing both. Something Miss Ifield understood while others clung to outdated hierarchies. This is ridiculous. Michael suddenly shouted from the floor, whine slurring his words. She's not even a real doctor. She doesn't save lives. She types code. Mr. Ifield. Patricia's voice turned ice cold. Your sister's typing has saved more lives this month than you will in your entire career. Sit down. The rebuke echoed through the silent ballroom. Michael collapsed into his chair. Patricia turned to me. Miss Ifield, would you share your vision for Technova's partnership with Seattle Grace? I nodded, clicking to the final slide. Architectural renderings of the new wing. The Technova Medical Innovation Center will integrate AI assistance into every aspect of patient care. We're not replacing the human touch. We're amplifying it. Doctors will have more time with patients, more accurate diagnostics, more lives saved. The board has already approved full implementation, Patricia added, led by our new CTO, not by those who denied her value. She looked directly at my father. Excellence through innovation, not just tradition. The moment I stepped off the stage, the media descended. Seattle Times, King 5 News, Medical Innovation Quarterly, all wanting the story of the surgeon's daughter, who revolutionized medicine from outside its walls. Miss Ifield, how does it feel to achieve what your father couldn't? Were you motivated by family rejection? Will you maintain any relationship with your family? I answered with measured professionalism, but my peripheral vision caught my father approaching through the crowd, his face desperate. Willow, we need to talk. His voice barely carried over the reporters. We did talk, I replied calmly, not breaking eye contact with the journalist. Yesterday, you made your position clear. This is a misunderstanding. Excuse me, Dr. Ifield. James Morrison intercepted smoothly. Your daughter has interviews scheduled. Perhaps you could schedule time through her assistant after the holidays. Her assistant? Dad's voice cracked. She's my daughter. No. I finally turned to face him fully. According to you, the best gift would be if I disappeared. I'm simply honoring your wishes. Professionally. The reporters were recording everything. Mom had pushed through the crowd, tears streaming. Willow, please. It's Christmas. Yes, it is. I pulled out my phone, showing them the family group chat. The one you're planning without me. Michael's message has 17 likes, remember. Board members were watching. Patricia Hayes stood nearby, arms crossed. The house, Dad started. We'll need new financial arrangements. I kept my voice level. I've covered $500,400 over 8 years. Consider it my graduation gift from the family that never wanted me. You can't just, I can. I am. I've already notified Wells Fargo about removing myself as co-signer. Your rate adjustment letter should arrive by Monday. His face went gray. You're removing yourself as co-signer? Dad's voice pitched higher, panic breaking through his usual composure. Several board members stepped closer, sensing drama. Effective January 1st, I pulled up the Wells Fargo email on my phone, holding it where reporters could see. Without my credit score, your rate jumps from 3.9% to 7.5%. That's $5,200 monthly instead of $3,600. You can't. That's financial blackmail. No, it's financial independence. Something you said I'd never achieve while playing with computers. I switched to my banking app. I'm also canceling the automatic payments for utilities, property taxes, HOA fees, and maintenance. That's another $4,800 monthly you'll need to cover. Michael had stumbled over, face flushed with alcohol and rage. You vindictive. Careful, Patricia Hayes warned. You're speaking to Technova CTO at a professional event. The board is watching. $10,000 monthly total, I continued calmly. The mortgage company has already been notified. They seemed very interested to learn that Dr. Robert Ifield has been dependent on his daughter's charity for 8 years. Charity? Mom gasped. We're family. No, I said. Family defends each other. Family celebrates success. Family doesn't applaud when someone says you should disappear. I looked at each of them. You made it clear I'm not family. I'm simply adjusting my finances accordingly. The Seattle Times reporter stepped forward. Miss Ifield, are you saying your father has been financially dependent on you while publicly dismissing your career? The documents speak for themselves, I replied, forwarding the spreadsheet to her email. 8 years of records. Every payment documented. Dad's legs wobbled. A board member offered him a chair. The best part, I added quietly. That cosigner clause was your addition, Dad. You insisted on it to get the lowest rate. Ironic, isn't it? James Morrison stepped to the microphone one final time, his CEO presence commanding immediate attention. Before we conclude tonight's announcements, there's one more matter. He clicked to a new slide showing Technova's donation terms. Our $50 million commitment comes with specific governance requirements. Dad, still slumped in the chair someone had provided, looked up sharply. The AI Innovation Wing will operate under independent leadership, separate from traditional surgical departments. James's eyes found my father. This ensures that progress isn't hindered by those who resist change. Additionally, Patricia Hayes took the microphone. The hospital board has restructured our innovation committee. Effective immediately, it will be led by someone who understands both technology and medicine's future. Who? Dad's voice was barely a whisper. The committee specifically requested Miss Ifield's guidance. Patricia announced. She'll have direct oversight of all AI implementation, reporting to the board, not department heads. The implication was clear. I would have authority over my father's department's technology adoption. This is nepotism in reverse. Michael slurred from the crowd. No, Patricia corrected sharply. Nepotism was promoting you despite mediocre performance because your father was department head. This is meritocracy. She pulled up Michael's performance reviews on the screen. A devastating move. Bottom quartile in diagnostics. Multiple patient complaints. 3 near misses this month alone. You can't show that publicly. Dad tried to stand but wobbled. Actually, I can. Board transparency rules when addressing nepotism concerns. Patricia's smile was sharp. Your promotion is under review, Michael. We'll be investigating whether family connections influenced it. Mom was crying openly now. The family members who'd laughed at me yesterday were backing away, distancing themselves from the public humiliation. Merit, I said quietly into the sudden silence. Not name. That's the future of medicine. December 25th, Christmas morning. Seattle Times front page, business section. Tech daughter saves medical dynasty, then cuts it off. My phone hadn't stopped buzzing since midnight. LinkedIn notifications showed 50,000 new followers and counting. The Geneva announcement had gone viral on medical Twitter. Hashtag merit not nepotism was trending. The article was devastating in its thoroughness. Reporter Sarah Chan had done her homework, pulling public records, interviewing hospital staff, documenting every claim. The photo they'd chosen showed the moment of revelation. Dad gripping the podium, me walking toward the stage, the crowd's shocked faces. 8 years of financial support while being publicly dismissed, the article read. Documents show Willow Ifield contributed over $500,000 to maintain the very household that excluded her from their Christmas celebrations. My email inbox exploded. Job offers from Mayo Clinic, Cleveland Clinic, Johns Hopkins. Speaking invitations from Harvard Medical School, Stanford, MIT. Every major medical AI company wanting partnerships. But the most telling responses came from other healthcare professionals. Finally, someone stood up to the old boys club. Your father dismissed my AI research proposal 3 times. Karma is beautiful. I'm a surgeon's daughter who became a nurse. He told me I couldn't hack real medicine. Thank you for this. The family group chat had gone silent after 37 missed calls from Dad, 23 from Mom, and 1 text from Michael. You've ruined us. No, I thought, scrolling through the opportunities flooding in. I'd freed myself. Local news picked up the story by noon. Prominent surgeon's financial dependence on dismissed daughter exposed at charity gala. By evening it had gone national. CNN. When family betrayal meets professional triumph. The Willow Ifield story. Every share, every comment, every view was another crack in the Ifield family facade. By December 26th, the family scramble had turned desperate. Dad, 47 missed calls, 23 voicemails, ranging from anger to pleading. Willow, this is cruel and unnecessary. Call me immediately. The mortgage company called. You can't do this. Please, your mother is devastated. I'm sorry, okay? Is that what you want to hear? Mom's texts were guilt-laden masterpieces. How could you humiliate us like this? Christmas was ruined without you. Your father hasn't slept. Please come home so we can talk. Michael's emails progressed from rage to panic. You vindictive witch. You've destroyed my career. The board is investigating my promotion. This is your fault. I could lose my license if they find Dad influenced the hiring. Please tell them it wasn't nepotism. Please. The extended family suddenly discovered my number. Aunt Helen. Sweetheart, we always believed in you. Perhaps you could reconsider the co-signing. Uncle Richard. Proud of your success. By the way, does Technova have openings? Cousin Sarah. Girl boss, could you put in a word at the hospital? Even grandmother Ifield, who hadn't called in 3 years. Darling family forgives. Your father is suffering. The most telling message came from their financial advisor, accidentally CC'd to me. Dr. Ifield, without Willow's support, you'll need to liquidate investments or sell the house within 90 days. The payment increase is unsustainable with your current obligations. Their dream home, their status symbol, their castle, built on my silent support. I archived every message without responding. They'd wanted me gone. They'd celebrated my erasure. Now they were learning what my absence actually meant. Not just emotionally but financially, professionally, socially. The reckoning they'd never imagined had arrived. January 3rd arrived with consequences as precise as surgical cuts. The hospital board meeting minutes were leaked within hours. Dad's director application denied. The reason cited made headlines in medical blogs. Failure to demonstrate inclusive leadership and resistance to innovation adoption. Michael's situation was worse. The investigation into his promotion revealed what everyone suspected. Fast-tracked advancement, overlooked performance issues, preferential scheduling. His attending position was revoked. Demoted back to senior resident with mandatory performance improvement plans. This is your fault. Michael's voicemail screamed. You destroyed everything. No, I thought reading Patricia Hayes' email. You destroyed yourselves. Patricia had written. The board was particularly concerned by Dr. Robert Ifield's public dismissal of technology that saved 15,000 lives. How can someone lead a modern hospital while denying modern medicine? The dominoes kept falling. 3 pharmaceutical companies pulled Robert from their speaker rosters. His anti-AI stance was now problematic for their brand. The medical school canceled his guest lecture series. We need professors who embrace innovation, the coordinator explained in an email he blindly copied me on. His private practice referrals dropped 40% in 2 weeks. Patients were requesting doctors who used that AI system. The country club where he'd bragged about his successful children, plural only when convenient, had questions about his delayed membership dues. But the final blow came from Wells Fargo. Dear Dr. Ifield, your request for rate modification has been denied due to insufficient credit score and debt-to-income ratio without cosigner. Payment of $5,200 begins February 1st. Additionally, review shows 11 late payments previously covered by cosigner. Account flagged for monitoring. The Ifield medical dynasty, 3 generations of prestige, crumbled because they dismissed the one person holding it together. All documented. All consequences of their own choices. All justice delivered by facts. My first day as CTO of Technova began January 8th with a corner office overlooking Elliott Bay and Seattle Grace Hospital in the distance. Welcome aboard, James Morrison said, gesturing at the view. Poetic, isn't it? 200 engineers reported to me now. My assistant Marcus had already fielded 12 interview requests and 37 partnership proposals before 10 a.m. The Geneva Committee wants you as keynote for their 2025 summit, Marcus announced. They're calling it Medicine Beyond Tradition. The Ifield Revolution. The irony wasn't lost on me. My first all-hands meeting was scheduled for 2 p.m. The team had decorated the conference room with congratulations banners and a cake reading. To saving lives without a scalpel. Your AI platform went live in 12 more hospitals this week, my engineering director reported. Current projection. 100,000 lives impacted by second quarter. 100,000. A number my father couldn't fathom. The WHO partnership confirmation arrived that afternoon. We'd be deploying the platform in underserved countries, bringing advanced diagnostics to places traditional medicine couldn't reach. Miss Ifield, the WHO director said over video call, your technology will democratize healthcare globally. This is medicine's future. At 4 p.m., looking out at Seattle Grace, I saw something that made me pause. An ambulance at the emergency entrance. Someone's worst day, potentially their last. Unless the AI caught something human eyes might miss. That's what mattered. Not family approval. Not legacy. Not the Ifield name on a hospital wing. Lives saved. Suffering prevented. Hope delivered through the innovation they'd mocked. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. A patient whose rare cancer was caught by my platform. You saved my life. Thank you for not giving up. Despite those who doubted you. Despite those who doubted me. Despite family who dismissed me because of that. Christmas morning 1 year later. December 25th, 2025. I sat in my new Belltown penthouse, coffee in hand, watching the sunrise paint Mount Rainier gold. The family group chat, muted months ago, showed 847 unread messages. I opened it for the first time since last Christmas. The recent messages were revealing. Mom, Willow, please. We're losing the house. Michael, can we at least talk? I'm struggling with resident salary. Dad, your mother wants you to know we're having Christmas at Aunt Helen's apartment. Apartment, not the mansion. I typed my first message in a year. I see you're experiencing life without my support. This is not cruelty. It's consequence. You celebrated my erasure from the family. I simply honored your wishes. If you want to reconnect, here are my non-negotiable conditions. 1. Public acknowledgement of 8 years of financial support. 2. Written apology for the Christmas Eve dismissal. 3. Acknowledgement that my work has value equal to medicine. 4. Commitment to therapy, family, and individual. 5. Respect for my boundaries going forward. This isn't about money. It's about recognition, respect, and rebuilding on truth, not tradition. You have my terms. The choice is yours. I sent it. Closed the app. Within minutes my phone rang. Mom, I let it go to voicemail. Willow, sweetheart, those conditions, your father's pride. Can't we just forget everything and start over? No. Starting over meant they'd learn nothing. Accountability came before absolution. Another call. Dad. This time also to voicemail. This is extortion, Willow. Family doesn't have conditions. But family could tell you to disappear. Family could mock your career while taking your money. Family could erase you from photos while cashing your checks. That wasn't family. That was exploitation. February 2025. Dad showed up at Technova's headquarters, desperate enough to try ambushing me at work. I need to see my daughter, he told reception using his most authoritative surgeon voice. I'm sorry, Dr. Ifield, but you're not on Miss Ifield's approved visitor list. The security guard replied professionally. Would you like to leave a message? I watched it all on my office security monitor. He'd aged years and months. Gray stubble, wrinkled suit, the posture of defeat. This is ridiculous. I'm her father. Sir, I'll need you to leave the premises or I'll have to call building security. He left an envelope instead. Marcus brought it up an hour later. I opened it carefully. 2 pages of his precise surgeon's handwriting. Willow, this is all a misunderstanding. You've taken things too personally. Yes, I said some things in frustration, but family forgives. Your mother cries daily. Michael's career is ruined. The house is in foreclosure. You've made your point. You're successful. We get it. Now come home and fix this. Your father. Not love, Dad. Just your father. No apology. No acknowledgement. No accountability. Just demands disguised as reconciliation. I had Marcus draft a formal response on Technova letterhead. Dr. Ifield, your letter was received. It contains no apology, no acknowledgement of wrongdoing, and no acceptance of the conditions I outlined for reconnection. You state, I've taken things too personally. Telling me to disappear from the family was personal. Taking my financial support while denying my professional worth was personal. You want me to fix this? I did not break it. You did. With 18 witnesses who applauded. My conditions remain unchanged and non-negotiable. Willow Ifield, Chief Technology Officer, Technova Corporation. He never responded directly, but the legal papers arrived a week later attempting to sue me for financial abandonment. His lawyer dropped the case after seeing the documentation. March 2025 brought an unexpected visitor. Mom came alone to Technova, waiting 6 hours in the lobby until I agreed to see her. She looked smaller somehow. Designer clothes replaced with simple department store finds. The pearls were gone, probably sold. Willow, she began, then stopped, tears already starting. I'm sorry. The words hung between us, fragile and long overdue. I should have defended you. That night when Robert said those horrible things. I should have stood up. I was a coward. She pulled out a worn envelope. I wrote this letter 100 times. I read it slowly. 3 pages of real accountability. How she'd enabled Dad's dismissiveness. How she'd prioritized peace over truth. How she'd failed as a mother. I've started therapy, she continued. Individual, not couples. Robert refuses to go. But I need to understand why I let this happen. Why I let him diminish you while you held us up. What about Dad and Michael? Michael blames you for everything. He's living with friends, drinking too much. Your father. She paused. He's moved into a studio apartment. Still insists he did nothing wrong. Still telling people you betrayed the family. And you? What do you tell people? The truth. That my daughter is brilliant, generous, and deserved so much better than we gave her. That I'm proud of you. That I'm ashamed of myself. It was a start. Not forgiveness. Not reconciliation. But a crack in the wall. Coffee, I said finally. Once a month. Neutral location. You don't speak for Dad or Michael. You don't carry messages. You don't guilt trip. Just coffee. I'll take it, she whispered. It's more than I deserve. Maybe. But everyone deserved a chance to grow. Even mothers who'd stayed silent too long. June 2025. 6 months after the gala that changed everything. My AI platform was now in 127 hospitals across 14 countries. The life counter on my office wall showed 103,147 lives impacted. By year's end, we'd cross 250,000. The Geneva Summit keynote had been standing room only. Medicine's future. Beyond the Ifield legacy drew record attendance. I never mentioned my father by name, but everyone knew. Michael had texted once. Hope you're happy. I'm working urgent care in Tacoma. I wasn't happy he was struggling, but I wasn't responsible for his choices either. Dad had given one interview to a medical blog claiming I'd success against family. The comments destroyed him. Hundreds of healthcare workers sharing their own stories of dismissive senior physicians. He never gave another interview. Mom and I had our monthly coffees. Slowly, carefully, we were building something new. Not a daughter trying to earn love through payment. Not a mother enabling toxic dynamics. Just 2 women learning to see each other clearly. Your father asked me to give you this, she said at our latest meeting, sliding a card across. We agreed. No messages. I know. I told him that, but read it later or don't. Your choice. I opened it that night. A Christmas card. Inside, his handwriting. I was wrong. 3 words. No signature. It wasn't enough. Not nearly. But it was the first crack in his armor, the first admission that maybe, just maybe, the daughter who saved lives through code was worth as much as the surgeon who dismissed her. I filed it away and went back to my work. Tomorrow my platform would save another 400 lives. That mattered more than 3 words from a man who'd needed to lose everything to write them. Success isn't revenge. It's living well despite those who doubted you. If you've ever been dismissed by family who should have supported you, remember, your worth isn't determined by their recognition. Set your boundaries. Find your own success. And never, ever let anyone dim your light.